Hello everyone, welcome to Live from the Dolce Vita Cafe, the spring edition. I'm trying to look springy today. Let me just refresh my screen so I can see what's going on here, see if anyone is joining me, and then we'll get started. And here we are. So as I said, today is, well, we're one day into spring. Spring officially happened yesterday, the vernal equinox. And we went to our farm market, which is always very exciting. I'm so excited when they open up again. They open in March all the time. And they go until about November. So we're going to have so many wonderful vegetable dishes coming. We bought a bunch of stuff. I started to film when we were there, and then I didn't really actually do anything with the footage. I was going to buy a bunch of stuff there and then come home and cook, and then I kind of got distracted, so sorry. But I did yesterday make, I made pesto, but I made it with dandelion greens and pistachio nuts. Now normally a classic pesto is made with basil and pine nuts, and actually, shameless plug for my book as usual. I have two pesto recipes in my cookbook. One is the regular classic one, and then there's a red pesto in there as well. But what I did, I filmed the dandelion pesto, so I'll have that video ready for you either later today or tomorrow. I still have to edit it. But what I normally do is when I was writing the cookbook, the publisher wanted me to do everything for about 4 servings and things like that. So sometimes when I make the videos, I cut them in half so you can see what it's like to make just enough for 2 people or just a smaller amount. So that's what I did. I cut the recipe in half, but then I used dandelion greens and pistachios, and it came out really delicious. Hello everyone who's joining me. I see some people have joined. So like I said, I will have that video for you either later today or probably tomorrow. And what I've done with it so far, so if you're wondering what to do with pesto, you can just stir it into all kinds of things. You can put a little teaspoon of it into salad dressing and stir it up and then put that on a salad. I put a spoonful of it in a pasta salad that I made, and we made pizza last night for supper. So I spread a thin coating of pesto first on the pizza and then put the tomato sauce on top of it just to add another little boost of flavor. And today we're going to make crostini with ricotta and pesto on it, and crostini are always fun. I actually am getting into crostini right now, and I've been trying to be creative with them. And I've come up with about 12 different crostinis. So I think I'm going to make a video where I make a bunch of different kind of crostini. If you don't know what crostini is, it's kind of like bruschetta, but you take toasted, it's anything that you make on little pieces of toasted bread. So it's an Italian dish, like an appetizer. And you toast bread and they get really crispy. You brush them with a little olive oil, maybe rub them with some garlic, and then you can put all kinds of toppings on them and mix it up. So I've been coming up with some creative ideas for crostini, and so that'll probably be a future video as well. I know I haven't been doing many food videos lately. I've been doing these live shows. I was concentrating so much on my podcast, but I'm getting back into filming the recipes for you. So I hope you're excited about that, and I hope you're excited about crostini. I think that'll be fun. And people are always asking me about healthy snack ideas, and crostinis are a good healthy snack idea as well. So that is what I have for you. I have to warn you, one of my cats is being a total spaz and running around the house. She sleeps about 98% of the time, and today she's having an awake morning and she's just running all over the place. So hopefully she won't knock over a light or the camera or anything like that. So please be patient. Amy Collins. Hello, Amy. Thank you so much for joining me. Hi, I love the mermaid meditations. Oh, thank you, Amy. I don't know if you know this, but I started another channel called Meditate and Chill that's on here. So far it only has like 6 subscribers because I haven't really promoted it. But I'm moving all of my meditations over there. I haven't moved the mermaid ones yet. So they will still be here on this channel. So you don't have to worry about not being able to find them. But I do want to ramp up my meditations again and get going with them. So if anyone doesn't know, we have the mermaid meditation series on here, and there's 4 of them so far. So I wrote the first one, and then people really enjoyed it, so I wrote a sequel, and then I intended to make it a trilogy, and then people wanted more, so I have 4. And people are asking for more again. So once I think of what I want to do, where I want to go with the story, I will have a 5th one sometime in the future. So I hope that makes you excited, Amy. And thank you so much for commenting. What else do I have for you today? take a sip of water. Oh, I also wanted to make probably a future video, recipe video will be, I might make it today actually, if I can find all the proper fish. But I want to make a fish stew with pasta, like an Italian fish stew. If you're watching, it's inspired by Stanley Tucci's show on CNN. He's traveling around Italy and he just eats basically. He goes to all these different places and talks about the food and the culture and how each region has its own specialties. And I was watching the Tuscan episode last night, and at the end of it, he was with some chef that made this gigantic, delicious looking fish stew. And with the gravy and the tomato sauce that was left in the pan, he just dumped a bunch of spaghetti in and mixed it up, and I was like, I have to have that. So I'm probably going to make my own version of that, and I'll film it. So hopefully that's something to look forward to. So are you watching Stanley Tucci's show? Let me know if you are. I wasn't sure if I would really be that into it, you know, a guy roaming around Italy just eating, but it's really interesting. And he meets so many different people, and it's just so interesting how each different region not only has their own cuisines and recipes, but they're very proud of exactly the way that they do it, and their way is the way, you know. Amy, cool. Maybe you can do the mermaid meditation about a shipwreck and finding other merfolk. You commented about that on one of them, didn't you? I remember reading that comment. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. Love the Tucci show. Oh, good. Thank you, Maestro. Thanks for joining me. Excuse me. Yes, Amy, I will come up with something. A shipwreck would be fun. In the last one, she found her own little private palace. And I did that in case people wanted to not... At the end of them, I always have you come back out on the land and go back to your normal life, the way to wrap up a meditation. But in the fourth one, I ended it to where you can choose whether or not you want to stay in the water and not come out, or you can come out if you want to. So a shipwreck would be an interesting idea. As long as it's not scary, because it's supposed to be a meditation and it's supposed to be relaxing. So I'll think on it, but thanks for the idea. So anyway, Maestro, you're loving the Tucci show. I'm glad that you're loving the Tucci show. I really find, I was watching it last night, and he had a scene with his parents, and they were cooking, and he said, you know, if this show gets popular, maybe we can do more of these or something like that. And his mom was like, yeah, right. Well, let me tell you about that. Like, I think she was like, no one's going to watch this show. It was really cute, but it is getting really popular. And I think it's because we're all locked down, and it's kind of, we're vicariously traveling through him. So it's sort of a perfect antidote to the lockdown blues. So if you haven't tried it, you can see the past episodes on demand on CNN if on your cable channel. So what else do we have today? Let's see. Oh, next Sunday, immediately after I do the live show, I'm going to go live on my Facebook group. Now, if you follow me for the Mediterranean diet, I know some of you follow me for my meditations, and you're probably a little confused about my channel being about two different things, which is why I started the other channel. I'm going to go live on Facebook. I have a group called Mostly Mediterranean, which matches my mostlymediterranean.com website. And the address is facebook.com/groups/Mediterranean life. And I'm going to go live, I think, at 11:45 next week on my Facebook group. And we're going to talk about spring cleaning your diet. And I have a lot of topics set aside for that. So I will go live here next week, but then after that, I will go live on the Facebook group. So hopefully you can join me for that. And if you want to join that group, it's a private group, but anyone, you know, I just let people in. You just have to request access. I will put a link when we're done here. When I'm finished filming here, I will put a link down in the description to that group. Amy Collins Skin. Yes, you should check out One Bike, One World. It's about a man traveling the world with his cat. Oh, that's so cute. I will check that out. Thanks. Thanks for the suggestion. I think that would be adorable. I have 3 cats. I don't know if I'd want to travel with them, but that show could be very interesting. Thanks, Amy. So what else do I have for you today? So I wrote 3 blog posts this week, and I wanted to just briefly go over them. So I have DonnaDeRosa.com and I have mostlymediterranean.com. So on DonnaDeRosa.com, I'm trying to get back into the habit of blogging Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. to offer a lot of content. And I've started a series, I think I mentioned this last week. I started a new series that's all about elegance, but I'm not only blogging about elegance. In between, I'm doing some of my regular posts. But the first post that I did last week was called Elegance in Beauty Daily Routines. And I'll put the links to all these blog posts down below as soon as we're done here. But it was about having a morning routine. I really learned about skincare and makeup from my mom. My mom got dressed every morning, whether she was going somewhere or not. So she would get up and she would do her whole, she didn't wear a lot of makeup, but she would do her whole, what I call like her toilette. She would do her whole routine where she would put on perfume and she'd get dressed and she'd fix her hair and she'd put on makeup. And she taught me about skincare when I was, becoming a teen and how to take care of my skin and how to put makeup on a little bit. And she never wore as much makeup as I wear. I mean, I became a makeup fanatic, and then I lived through the 80s, of course, so I really became like a makeup queen. Toned down my look a little since then, but I learned all those things from her. And the blog post is about coming up with a skincare routine and really taking care of your skin, because it will serve you in your later years if you start taking care of it as young as you can. But just the meditative aspect also of putting on your makeup in the morning and getting dressed, and not just sitting around. We're all locked down, or maybe you're locked down where you are. We're all like really can't go that many places, so some of us aren't doing our normal routine because who's going to see us anyway? But sometimes it just makes you feel better. Like I love on Sundays, because I'm doing this show, I fix my hair, I put on some makeup, and maybe I don't do that as much during the week as I should, but it really feels good when I do. Sometimes I'll put some eyebrows and mascara and lip balm on, even that seems like an effort these days. But that's what the blog post is about. On Wednesday, I had a blog post called How to Make a Watercolor Mandala for Spring. And a mandala is those spiral kind of artworks that you see in Buddhist and Hindu culture. And they're really beautiful, and they can be really intricate. And you'll find, you have the adult coloring books now. Sometimes you'll find coloring books full of those pages and you can color them. So I just sat down with a little watercolor set and I just made my own. And it was just kind of a meditative activity, and I just wanted to do something for spring. It's been so dreary around here. I'm in New Jersey, and everything's been brown, and the trees are all bare, and my tree now in the backyard is starting to have little buds on it for spring, so I just got excited about spring, and I just did it in pretty colors. So you can see the one that I made over on my blog, which I will put a link to down below. But the blog post was really just about encouraging you to do some kind of art for spring, to enliven your spirits. And I know that when I'm not an artist by any means, I'm really not that great at it, but I do like to do it anyway, just because when I'm painting, for that time period that I'm sitting there painting, I don't think about anything else. All of my cares disappear, all of my to-do lists and all that kind of stuff just goes away for a minute, and I just concentrate on what I'm doing, and I really enjoy doing that. And then you come out with something cute at the end. And so go check out that blog post as well. And then I have one more blog post to share with you. Take a sip of water. On Friday, I released a blog post called Spring Clean Your Goals. So when I do my Facebook Live, I'm going to do Spring Clean Your Diet, but this was about spring cleaning your goals. And this is about not being ashamed if you have changed your mind about what your goals are for the year or in life in general. I have been through so many different life changes. When I tell a story in the blog post about when I was in high school, my girlfriends and I all decided we were going to become hairdressers and we were going to open a salon together. And then by that, that was freshman year. By sophomore year, I had gotten into school, gotten more into school and met all different kinds of people when I went to high school. And just really decided that I wanted to go to college and I wanted to be a writer. And that didn't sit too well with my friends who still wanted to be hairdressers. But you have to make up your own mind about what you want to do. That seemed like a fun idea when you're a freshman, but by the time you graduate, you're like, I've grown up now and I have other ideas. Not that there's anything wrong with being a hairdresser. I wish that I knew more about how to fix my hair. But I just had other goals in mind. And then I got sidetracked from that and went to acting school in New York and was all about the acting and theater world for quite a few years. And then kind of came back to writing again and started my blog and all those things. So the spring cleaning your goals is to just sit down and take a look at what your overall goals were for your life. Maybe sometimes our our goals are kind of handed to us by our parents or by our friends. You know, you get pressured into things. Your parents want you to be a doctor, or your parents want you to do this or something like that. And it's not really what you want to do. And you follow that path for a while, and then you finally hit a certain age where you're just like, I'm not happy. And you have to follow your own goals. Or sometimes you have these grand plans. Like, I wanted to be a writer ever since I was a little kid. I wanted to write Nancy Drew books when I was little. I never ended up writing Nancy Drew books, but I did become a writer. And but it went away for a long time, and then I found my way back to it. So it's about exploring what your goals are, what your goals are when you were little, and if you want to come back to them because you got sidetracked, or if you followed a certain path and you decided you want to change your mind. And that's always okay. And I think some people sometimes think that that's not okay, that they need to just get the job and keep at it. And it's really your life, and you should do what you want. And if you need someone to give you permission to do it, I'm giving you permission. So go check out that blog post. I think it'll be helpful to just explore where you're going, because I think a lot of people's goals have changed dramatically during this whole lockdown period, especially people who got to work from home, who normally would go to the office every day, and they're just like, you know what, going to the office every day sucks, and they can still do just as good a job at home, or they realize that it's not that hard to have a side hustle if you want to start something on your own. So that is my inspirational blog post from Friday, and I will link all of those down below. So thank you to everyone who joined me today. We're about 16 minutes in, and I am out of topics to talk about for today. So I will see you next week. And please, if you are interested in joining my Mediterranean diet group, check out the link that I will put below down after this airing stops. And maybe you can join me live over on Facebook and meet some interesting people there, because I'm really excited in that group. I wanted this group to be a place where people could share recipes. And for a long time, it was just me posting in there. And now finally, people are feeling comfortable enough to post their food that they're making and other recipes. And I really want that community aspect to grow. So hopefully you will join me there too. So thank you, Amy. My mom does hair. I want to be a writer. I wrote some fanfics. What do you do if you want to write, but you don't feel like writing? You know what? Just sit down and write. Sometimes you never know what is going to come out of that pen or that typewriter until you actually sit down and do it. And I love that you're writing fan fiction, because that's a great place to start, when you can find someone who already came up with characters and you love, and then you can write side stories to them and things like that. And then maybe from there you can take it and you can start creating your own characters. And maybe just start a blog, or just, where you just write your own things and just get used to writing. And when you don't feel like writing, I'm telling you, there's like a magic thing that happens when you actually sit down to do it. Because sometimes I'll be like, I don't know what I'm going to blog about today. And then I just sit down and I think of an idea, and you just start typing. And even if you just start typing, I don't know what I'm going to write about today, just the act of doing that will start getting the creative juices flowing. And it's like magic. Things will just come out of you. So when you don't feel like writing, just sit down and make yourself do it with your computer or with a notepad and a pen. Just do it. And I love that you want to be a writer, because I think it's what I love. So I think everyone has a story to tell. I firmly believe that, and I think anyone can learn how to write. And so actually, I probably should mention, if you ever heard of Skillshare.com, I have a class on Skillshare. It's a journalism class, but it's also just about how the basics of some good, clean writing. So if you want to go check out Skillshare, excuse me, I will put a link down below also to my Skillshare page. And if you follow that link, you'll get 14 free days of Skillshare. And you can always cancel it before they charge you anything. But if you want to sign up for the free trial, you can take my class, or there's tons of other writing classes on there if you want to just get started. And even if you want to paint watercolor and mandalas, you'll find a class for that as well. So thank you, Amy. Thank you for joining me. I'm glad you were here this week. Thank you, Maestro, for joining me. And I guess that's it. And I will see you next week. Enjoy the spring weather. Bye.